What is going on, everyone? Mets Talk with Hayden J. What's going on, everyone? I hope everyone is doing extremely well. We got a lot of news to talk on the agenda today. The New York Mets and New York Yankees had one of the most wild series I think that I personally have seen in quite a while. This series was overall just ballistic. Just overall crazy. So we're going to get into that. But before we dive into all the news, everyone, please feel free, drop a like on this video, subscribe. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, please feel free and drop them down in the comment section below so that you can stay up to date with all great New York Mets and baseball content. So in today's stream, we are going to be going over the New York Mets and New York Yankees Subway Series summary. As always, we are going to be transitioning into the New York Mets and St. Louis Cardinals series preview, and then pretty much a new little thing that I'm starting on the channel, pretty much just going over the MLB standings because it's been changing drastically. I mean, the Blue Jays now have sole possession of the second wild card spot. The Yankees dropped it, and it seems that, according to this pretty much, MLB, the wild card standings are changing pretty much every day. And it seems that the best option for the Mets right now seems to honestly be the wild card. So that's why I definitely want to keep getting into these standings. So let's get right into it. So pretty much we could see game one was on Friday. We had the black uniforms back in action. The black uniforms looked pretty cool, pretty solid. The Mets won 10-3. This was probably one of the best starts that we saw in Tylor Megill. We saw Tylor Megill went 7 innings pitched, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, a walk, 10 strikeouts. He mixed his pitches pretty solidly for the most part. He attacked the zone with his four-seam fastball very well. His pitch count was pretty adequate enough, and I really liked what we saw in Tylor Megill that day. He really looked solid. He got the win for the game. He was eligible for the win. So that was really, really good to see Tylor Megill get the win because we know the Mets starting pitchers aren't really getting wins anymore. I mean, it really seems like the bullpen and, it's just really exasperating. So good to see. I mean, I know wins and loss record, it doesn't really matter, but, it's always good to see inside of the books, in my opinion. So following Tylor Megill's best start, he luckily was able to beat his strikeout record. He got over it, double-digit strikeouts, first time in his rookie career. Heath Hembree came in pretty quiet. Heath Hembree's been a guy that I've liked solidly so far this season. Pretty much with Heath Hembree, it's pretty basic. Just try to get command of the zone. His slider stuff, his swinging and miss ratio was there. Just get command of the zone because that's one thing you never want to do as a bullpen pitcher, and that is walk someone. Following that, you had Yennsy Diaz, who came in, and I feel like we haven't seen Yennsy Diaz in over a year. He came in, he gave up a run, closed it out. Nothing crazy. So that was the pitching staff for that day. It was honestly pretty solid for the most part. I liked it. Getting into the offense, we saw the offense was pretty on point this game. We saw the offense that started off with Javier Baez in the first inning, who had an RBI single. Great to see Javier Baez getting in on the action, who had an RBI single to drive in VR. And pretty much this was really set by poor defense by the Yankees. We know the Yankees made a lot of poor defensive plays during this game, and this really set the Mets up for success, and it set the tone. In the bottom of the first, we saw, as we know, Baez hit an RBI single out to the left fielder, Joey Gallo. Gary DiSarcina sent him. One of the few times you think he would have sent him on a Gold Glover caliber left fielder. He sent him, and Sanchez got the ball, and, if he just simply tagged him, he would have been out by, a solid 8 to 9 steps. But Sanchez never touched him. He never tagged him, so he was safe, and that really set the tone of this game. Following that, in the third inning, Alonso tied it up on an RBI walk to drive in Jonathan VR. So good to see. Jeff McNeil with the bases loaded was trying to come out of his slump. What does he do? He has an RBI bunt to drive in Michael Conforto. Dropped a bunt down the first base line. No one was there to get it. And he drove Conforto in. And then Pilar had an RBI sac fly later that inning to drive in Alonso. James McCann had an RBI double to bring in McNeil. Great to see James McCann really getting in on the action. In the fourth inning, we know Francisco Lindor hit a solo home run. So that was really good to see Lindor get in on the action. We're going to be going over him quite a bit on today's stream. Javier Baez had an RBI double to drive in Conforto. Great to see those two guys really mixing together. And then in the seventh inning, once again, James McCann had a ground out. He was my ground out, but it drove in a run, so I'll take it. In terms of the offense for this game, it was marvelous. Marvelous. 10 runs, 11 hits. You see 3 for 10 with runners in scoring position, and you're like, oh, yikes. But then, we drove in runs is the point. Left 6 on base. Pretty solid day for the Mets offense. We really were able to take the Yankees' defensive errors and really change it around. So really, really good to see. Getting into game 2 of this series. Personally, I think we could have won this game. This was September 11th. As we know, the New York Mets had a very nice tribute. I did tune into some of it. A very nice tribute to pay respects to those who unfortunately lost their lives on September 11th, 2001. Great tribute. Very, very good. Mets did a good job with that. Bobby Valentine, Joe Torre throughout the first pitch. They had Star Spangled Banner. They did a good job with that. But the Mets unfortunately lost game 2 on Saturday, 8-7. We had Taijuan Walker on the bump. 6 innings pitched, 6 hits, 5 earned runs. A walk and 8 strikeouts. We saw Taijuan Walker looked pretty solid. He attacked the zone well. His velocity was there. He did give up a fair amount of hard contact, home runs, long balls, some doubles early on in the game in the first and second inning. But pretty much the Mets, they get roughed up early on, and then they pretty much really turn it around later on. Following that, we had Seth Lugo, who came in quiet, no concerns. May came in. Trevor May's been a guy who, listen, you were in the 8th inning. You had the lead. Trevor May was a guy who should have been in that spot anyways. He is the setup man. He is the 8th inning guy. Everyone was talking about, but Lugo only threw 7 pitches. Yeah, honestly, I could see both sides. Personally, I'm not really mad at Rojas for that. I'm more mad at May. It sucks to see. So May really came and struggled. 3 hits, 2 earned runs, didn't retire anyone. And then Loop and Brad Hand came in pretty solid, no complaints. In terms of the offense, started off in the second inning. Early on in the game, we really had the bottom of our order really, really get out there. We had Kevin Pillar had an RBI double to drive in Javier Baez. Baez has been a wizard on the base paths. To drive in Javier Baez, James McCann, who seemed to do awesome this series, had an RBI triple. Crazy to think the Mets were not hitting triples at all. This team was not hitting, triples at all. I think this Mets team went on like a 70 or 70 something game spree of where they didn't have a triple. And now they've had like 10 in like the last month. So really weird to see. James McCann had an RBI triple to drive in Pillar. And then guess what? Who needs the DH when you have pitchers? Taijuan Walker had an RBI single to bring in James McCann. Going into the 3rd inning, Javier Baez had a solo home run to left field. Going into the 6th inning, James McCann had a 2-run homer, a go-ahead 2-run homer to give the Mets the lead. They were down by 2, gives the Mets the lead, drove in Jeff McNeil. Great to see. Unfortunately, it wasn't able to be enough. Following that, Kevin Pillar did have an RBI single to bring in Javier Baez. And then pretty much as we know in terms of Trevor May, and we know Javier Baez was a big topic for today, for Saturday's game. Unfortunately, Javier Baez did make a throwing error when attempting to turn a double play, which did give up a run on May's behalf. That really sucked, really did. So Mets lost 8-3, can't win them all. Getting into game 3, honestly, I think this was the most exciting game I think anyone has ever seen in probably for my lifetime. Getting into game 3, Sunday's game. Mets won. It was an ESPN night baseball game. Carlos Carrasco was on the bump for the New York Mets. Typical Carrasco start. Trying to pull up the stats right here. Stand by. Pretty much taking a look at Carlos Carrasco, we could see he went 5 innings pitched, surrendered 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 4 walks, and 5 strikeouts. pretty much the same thing with Carlos Carrasco. He struggled really early on in this game. He struggled with command of the strike zone. He was giving up a lot of contact, unfortunately. But luckily, he was able to pull it around. Following this, we had Jeurys Familia, who came in, who once again struggled with command of the strike zone, surrendered 2 earned runs, didn't retire anyone, wasn't able to get the job done, sadly. And it sucks to see that out of Familia because he's been a guy who's been really good this season. His last 2 starts have been kind of unfortunate. So hopefully Familia can turn it around. Following Familia's unfortunate outing with the command of the strike zone, Castro came in pretty quiet. Lugo came in pretty quiet. Hand came in, gave up the tying home run, unfortunately. And then Edwin Diaz came in to close it for his 29th save of the year. In terms of the offense, this offense was really something, all right, I will tell you that. In terms of the offense, in the first inning, Michael Conforto had an RBI single the other way. Good to see Conforto really using the opposite way. He had an RBI single to drive in Jonathan VR. Great to see. Following the second inning, Francisco Lindor had a 3-run homer. 3-run homer, that is right, to bring in Pilar and McCann. Great to see Lindor getting in on the action there. In the 5th inning, James McCann had a sac fly to drive in Javier Baez. In the 6th inning, what happened again? Mr. Francisco Lindor did it again, a solo home run to center field. In the 8th inning, it is a tie ball game. Keep this in mind, it is a tie ball game. We know what happened. Giancarlo Stanton hit a 2-run tying homer in the 6th inning. Giancarlo Stanton did that. So Francisco Lindor comes up in the 8th inning and hits a solo home run to right to give the Mets the lead. Lindor's the hero of this game. It was just a very crazy game. During this, the bench is cleared because Stanton apparently said some shenanigans to him. I really don't know. It was just a ton of nonsense. Crazy game by the Mets. I mean, this was one of the most craziest games I've ever seen. I mean, you see these ESPN games, and that's what they're supposed to see. Pretty much A-Rod and whoever the other guy was, I forgot his name, literally, whenever they saw Francisco Lindor hit a home run, they were just screaming like, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. And it was just really great to see the Mets get into this. We know there was some talks of the Yankees stealing some signs. I honestly don't really care super much for it. Honestly, the odds of it being true, I don't know. You tell me. It was weird. Everyone was saying that the Yankees were stealing signs because apparently there was some whistling during the Giancarlo Stanton home run, which there was. I mean, you can't deny that there was some whistling. I don't really care for it much. So not really anything crazy. Francisco Lindor is looking great, though. I did want to share a couple stats that I have about Francisco Lindor. With taking a look-see at Francisco Lindor, we could see this dude has been doing well. I appreciate everyone for commenting in the comment section below. Do not worry. Obviously, I will get to all your comments momentarily after I go over my recap and preview. So if you have any comments, drop them below. They could be about the Mets, Yankees, Phillies, Blue Jays, whatever works. So taking a look at Francisco Lindor, he has a 952 OPS over his last 17 games with 3 doubles, a triple, and 6 home runs. Pretty elite, if you ask me. And then taking a look at Michael Conforto. Conforto is a guy that needs to be addressed. In his last 37 games, Conforto has a slash line of 279, 385, 475, 6 doubles, and 6 home runs. So these guys have really been doing something. I was looking at Francisco Lindor's Savant page, and it actually looks pretty solid. That's really interesting to see. So hopefully Lindor could keep it up. Listen, will Lindor ever be worth a contract of $341 million? I don't know about that, but hopefully if he could do what he did last night, if he could be clutch in these times, then that is all I am asking for out of Francisco Lindor. So now getting into the St. Louis Cardinals series. Obviously, it is going to be something. Game 1, the St. Louis Cardinals are coming into town. Game 1, which will be at 7:10 p.m. We will have Adam. Pretty much tonight's matchup is the veteran matchup. I think this is like the first time in like a while the Mets have had both starting pitchers over the age of 40. We will have the veteran Adam Wainwright. I mean, this dude gives every Met fan PTSD if you were around in 2006. Carlos Beltran, bases loaded. It sucks. Game 1, which will be tonight at 7:10. Citi Field. Cardinals are coming into town. We played them earlier on this season. 4 games. We split both of them. Adam Wainwright will be on the bump for the St. Louis Cardinals. 15-7 this season. 2.93 strikeout. 2.93 ERA and 163 strikeouts. As we know, he does have that nasty curveball. I mean, I'm sure all Mets fans have PTSD from it. 2006. I don't need to go over it anymore. Adam Wainwright's been pretty solid this year. He is a nice veteran pitcher, but he has his stuff so far. He limits walks, limits contact. He's a pretty adequate enough pitcher in my eyes. Getting into the Mets starter, we will have Rich Hill on the bump. 0-2 this season, 3.71 ERA and 36 strikeouts. Rich Hill has been really, really interesting for this Mets team. I mean, he isn't. This is how I say it with Hill. He isn't a guy that, stands out. Rich Hill is not a guy who stands out amazingly. He's a guy that, if you go to his baseball savant, if you go to any really website that really talks about baseball stats, it doesn't look that great. He's just effective. So yeah, Rich Hill is on the bump for the New York Mets tonight. We know he does have that really nice sidearm slider that's been pretty solid for him. We know he used it in the Washington series, and I guess it kind of helped him out a little bit. It worked for him, so hopefully it works for him again this series. He does have that nasty curveball, low velocity, and he limits contact. That's what I like to see. That is literally what I like to see. So that is game 1 tonight. Hopefully the lineup is out. If anyone does know if the lineup is out, please feel free to drop it below so I can go over it. Getting into game 2, we could see it is tomorrow. We could see game 2 is tomorrow at 7:10. Something was wrong with my calendar. It gave me the wrong day. It is tomorrow at 7:10 Tuesday. Jake Woodford is on the bump for the St. Louis Cardinals. And to be honest with you guys, I couldn't tell you a single thing about this dude. I mean, from some research I've done, 2-3 record, a 4.28 ERA and 40 strikeouts. He limits barrels. I mean, he gives up a lot of hard contact. Otherwise, nothing really crazy about Jake Woodward that I could really tell you about. I'm not a St. Louis Cardinals rotation expert. And he will be facing Marcus Stroman. And I'm pretty sure it's safe to say I could tell you some stuff about Marcus Stroman. Stroman is 9-12 on the season, a 2.87 ERA and 143 strikeouts. Stroman's been pretty nice for the Mets this season. Getting a lot of swinging and misses. We've been seeing he's using the splitter slider like never before. It's really been working for him. Keep the ball on the ground, keep the ground balls rather than fly balls, and have the splitter slider in effect. So that is game 2. Game 3, which will be on Wednesday at 7:10. We will have Jon Lester on the bump. Jon Lester was traded to the St. Louis Cardinals from the Nationals this past trade deadline. The Cardinals, I'm sure as most of you could tell, have a very old veteran rotation. Adam Wainwright, Jon Lester, very old veteran rotation, and it gets the job done. Jon Lester will be on the bump for the Cardinals, 5-6 this season, 4.75 ERA, 72 strikeouts. He is a left-handed pitcher. He's 37 years old, as we know, so he's solid. He has stuff there for a veteran. He's a left-handed pitcher with low velocity. I hate hearing those two things together because the Mets cannot hit a left-handed pitcher. They can't hit a fastball, and they have struggle complexities with low velocity. So you have 2 out of those 3 in there. So that's going to be a tough game. So we'll see what lineup Rojas and the Mets analytical crew puts together that day. We'll see. And he is a fly ball guy, so, try to elevate the ball, try to get some launch angle, get the ball go flying. So that'll be game 3. Tyler McGill will be on the bump for Mets in game 3. 3-4 this season. He is coming off a win, his best start, career high 10 strikeouts against the New York Yankees. 4.06 ERA, 88 strikeouts. Keep the pitch count low. Otherwise, look good. He's been having a nice stretch with his four-seam fastball, as we know, and keep the velocity there. That is really all I ask out of Tyler McGill. So the Cardinals are coming into town, as we know. It's going to be a ride. They are also chasing the wild card. They are 73-69 this season, so they are chasing the wild card. They are currently they're coming off a series against the Cincinnati Reds where they are 2-3. They took 2 out of 3. Nolan Arenado, Paul Goldschmidt have been pretty nice for them. They've been carrying their offense. Arenado was pretty solid for them. So yeah, pretty good to see. And as you know, for the Mets, they are 72-72. They are at 500. There's a low chance for them making the playoffs, but they've been trying. They also took 2 out of 3 against the Yankees in their last series. Lindor, Baez have been really nice so far. They've been showing signs of life. Alonso, Conforto, McNeil, they've been pretty adequate enough. Alonso too. Hopefully, Alonso could do better this series. And overall, I'm saying try to take 2 out of 3. Take 2 out of 3 from the St. Louis Cardinals, and I think you may have a solid ball game going ahead. So yeah, we're gonna have to see. But we got 12 people in the chat. I appreciate everyone for tuning in. I know a lot of people have been giving up on the Mets this season. I get that. I understand. I'm Mets rage with Hayden. I get that. But you know what? Whether if I was an Orioles fan, a Pirates fan, a team that's way below 500, if I was Diamondbacks talk with Hayden, I would still be coming on here. Yeah, maybe the streams would be more, triggering, more arguing, more raging. But the point of the matter is I would still be coming on here with the same exact attitude that I have. Well, maybe not the same exact attitude. The point is I would still be coming on here giving summaries and previews of the series and giving my thoughts. I think there were high expectations going into this into this year. And a lot of people, I guess, kind of got upset when they pretty much didn't get the expectations needed. So now we are going to get into all your guys' comments. If anyone has any comments, questions, or concerns, drop them below. I see we got a couple questions already, so I really do appreciate that. As we know, obviously following that, we will be going over the MLB standings because the Mets could possibly be looking at a wild card chance. So let's see if anyone else has any comments, questions, or concerns. Drop them in the comment section below. So that'll finish up the New York Mets and New York Yankees series summary, as well as the New York Mets and St. Louis Cardinals series preview. Let's get right into this. So, Gio, my man, what's going on? I appreciate you tuning in. Lindor, baby. Yes, sir. Lindor's been nice. Quentin, TB35, no worries, man. Good luck. You're saying, sorry, I won't be here. I'll be at my city hall trying to get my baseball fields back. Let the kids play, man. I agree. Let the kids play. Good luck with that. Kobe, what's going on? Appreciate you tuning in. Kobe, John says Lindor got the last laugh. I know. Everyone was tweeting me out saying, "Oh, Hayden Lindor went yard high," because I was calling him Jason Bay and stuff like that. But whatever. But good to see you here, Logan, Quentin. This series was the best Subway series ever. I could probably agree with you, that man. Logan, what's going on? Eric says, "Hey Hayden, let's go Mets." Eric, what's going on? Ruben. Ruben, I agree with you. Hopefully Lindor can try to do what he did in the last couple Yankees and National Series and continue that. Try to be worth a $341 million guy is my opinion. Kobe, what's going on, man? What's going on? Appreciate you tuning in. Baseball is my air. Karen, what's going on? Yeah, Lindor's been nice. I've been liking him. I like Lindor when he plays well. Good to see you on here, says Kobe. I was talking about that. You know what? Like I said, regardless if I was Pirates Talk with Hayden, I would still be coming on here talking about whatever the Pirates play, like the Cubs. I'd still be going over that. Devin, what's going on? Yeah, black unis really did look good. Boomer, what's going on? Lolly Yankees. Baseball is my air. Mets could have won Game 2 and swept the Subway Series. You know what? I'll take 2 out of 3. We won the overall series against the Yankees. We took, 5 out of 6? Wait. 5 out of 7. I don't know. I'm terrible. I have to see. Me too. Quentin says, James McCann does play pretty well on ESPN. I will say that. YouTube Productions, what's going on, brother? I appreciate you tuning in. Yeah, it was a very nice tribute. El Mago is having a hot September. He is, dude. He really is. He is, Marco. Hopefully he could try to be worth the deal that, we gave up a lot for him. We gave up Pete Armstrong, so I'm really hoping that he could really try to be worth something. So we're going to have to see what Javier Baez can get done because, it's just we gave up so much for this dude. Sorry, my phone was going off. I apologize about that. Yeah, we're going to have to see what we could try to get out of Baez. We gave up, a lot for him, so I would really like to keep him. We gave up a top 5 prospect for a rental. I would rather not have that as a situation. So we're going to have to see what Baez can do with this team. Let's go Mets. Kobe says the game was crazy. It was. But yeah, one of the best Subway Series I've seen. I can agree. Travis, what's going on, man? I appreciate you tuning in. Connor, what's going on? Mark's here. What's going on? Quentin, AB, Allison, AB. Yeah, I'm sorry, AB, to hear about your Yankees. I know they're playing the Twins right now. I haven't checked the score, but I heard they were losing. Galapagos, what's going on? Mr. Blueberry, 560. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Cool Spin. What a performance by McNeil. Those 2 grand slams yesterday. Put a nice defensive play. I don't think McNeil hit a grand slam. No, I don't. I know. You probably mean a bunt. You probably mean the bunt, is my opinion. AB says the whistling stuff is a bunch of BS. Walker was tipping his pitches. The Yankees did nothing wrong. Yeah, honestly, I have to do my research on what happened. All I saw was that there was some whistling, and then Stan hit it, and then Stan hit a home run. So I have to see what went down. I mean, it probably could have been that. I know Taijuan Walker has tipped his pitches in the past before. So honestly, AB, I probably believe that because Taijuan Walker has been known to tip his pitches earlier this season. So maybe he was doing that, and maybe it was. I mean, it's legal as long as they weren't using cameras or anything foolish like that. If you were to run around second and they knew, I think you have every right to do it as long as you're not using cameras and the whole operation. But yeah, honestly, that I could see Walker of doing that. Glapo says everything Lindor's done since the thumbs down incident has been an absolute class, from his hitting to his interviews to he appears humble and honest. Yeah, dude, really. I mean, Galapagos, Lindor has been really a good chemistry guy. And, listen, you got to win a game, not have good chemistry. But I'm really hoping Lindor could have good chemistry and also have a good bat and a good glove. I mean, if he could do what he did last night for, maybe 5 out of 10 times, I'll take it. I mean, I think the contract is really something that a lot of people are going to look at, and a lot of people do look at contracts. Bryce Harper's making $330-something million, but if he goes 0 for 4, everyone starts booing him. But, that's the thing, is contracts really put a price on someone's value, I feel, and it's doing it with Lindor. Personally, when Lindor first got that contract, I did think it was a little high, coming off 2 tough seasons. If we signed him straight out of 2018, I'd say sure. Cool. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he probably meant the sack bunt, is my opinion. Mark's here. Now let's see if the Mets can go ahead on St. Louis in the wild card spot or even the division. Yeah, man, that is the goal. The Mets' goal is to try to get on the St. Louis Cardinals for the wild card spot. Obviously, I don't personally think I personally do not think it's crazy to think because everyone, I was always running around saying, oh, it's division or go home. But honestly, it's really close at this rate. I mean, a wild card's a spot, but it's so close that, I mean, let's say we do have the wild card spot. The last game we play is against the Braves. So, I mean, 3 games. But I don't know. We'll have to see. Brandon New York Rangers, I appreciate you tuning in, man. Let's freaking go Mets, of course, man. Yeah, Rich Hill's been pretty nice, honestly. I mean, he's been going more innings pitched, which is something I've liked. I mean, I don't know if we'll re-sign him next season. So we'll have to see what the Mets really have plans with Rich Hill. I like him. He's a nice lefty. It's just we lack so much left-handing pitching. I mean, you have Lucchesi out. Galapagos says, Hayden, you got to start doing more game streams. I do, and I definitely am going to do more game streams soon. Now that the season starts to get more exciting, I'll definitely do some game streams. I'll make a promise. I'll probably do at least 1 or 2 game streams before the season ends. Playoffs, I will do playoff game streams regardless of if the Mets make the playoffs or not. I'll come on here and I'll be Rays talk with Hayden for a playoff game. I'll come on here and watch it. Yeah, I agree with you, Cool Spin. I mean, he's proved himself. I mean, he's like 41 years old and he's still at it. So I think he's definitely proved himself. And he's looked pretty solid. No worries, Jack in the Box. No worries. I understand. Summer's wrapping down. Mets have been slumping. I get you, man. No need to apologize. Mr. Cool, Kobe, what's going on? Karen says, I'm not going to get into a New York War of Worlds with anyone. Just my opinion. Yeah, I agree, of course. Mets lineup. Okay, so the Mets lineup is out tonight. Let's take a look-see at what this Mets lineup is looking like for today. But we got 15 people in the chat. I like what I'm seeing. I know the channel was kind of quiet these last couple days. Simply enough, a lot of people were giving up on the season. So yeah, we're going to have to see what the Mets could do ahead. But yeah, let's get into this lineup. I know everyone's saying I look weird without a hat. Yeah, I know a lot of these times I usually come on streams with a hat. But I'm rocking the McNeil jersey. I didn't wear a hat today at all. So I just, I'll just wear this. So getting into game. Oh, Aaron Judge just hit a home run. What do you know? Don't see that every day. I know it was the tying home run shoot. So getting into today. This is an interesting stat. The Mets lead the National League with 76 runs scored in September. Isn't that just amazing? That just tells you a lot, doesn't it? It really does. Really does. So I don't know if tonight's lineup is out. I do not see it. I know Coolspin commented it, but I don't see it off of Twitter. And I usually sometimes like to read it off of here it is, because it has the numbers, so I don't get thrown off. So batting first for the New York Mets, we will have the third baseman, Jonathan Villar. Been red hot. I like VR leading off. Nice left-hander leading off. Gets on base. Does his job. Batting second, the $341 million man himself, Francisco Lindor. Great to see Lindor. I really like this double lefty leading off. I expressed it before. Whether it's VR Nimmo, Nimmo VR, Lindor Nimmo, it's great because let's say your leadoff man gets on. This team needs to be more aggressive on the base paths, stealing bases, etc. And it really goes to show you have VR get on or Nimmo get on, and then you have another left-hander step up at the plate. Well, that could block the catcher's view. So let's say this, VR's leading off. He gets a walk, he gets a hit, he's on first base. You have Nimmo leading off, a lefty. That left-handed pitcher in Nimmo is blocking the catcher's point of view. So that could leave VR in first base to steal or have a big stretch at first. Batting third, we will have the right fielder, Michael Conforto, responsible for 1 run last night. Batting fourth, cleanup spot, Pete Alonso. I am not big on Pete Alonso batting fourth. I think most of you guys know that by now. I don't like Alonso batting fourth. I like him batting second or third. Simply enough because I don't like him batting in the second inning. I don't like him leading off in the second inning. Batting fifth, the second baseman, Javier Baez. Batting sixth, the left fielder, Jeff McNeil. Batting seventh, Kevin Pillar, the center fielder. Batting eighth, James McCann had a nice series against the New York Yankees. And batting ninth, Rich Hill. So we're going to have to see what the Mets could really get rolling on tonight with this lineup. As we know, it is on the screen. Our friend Coolspin did put it up on the screen, so I appreciate that, guys. So yeah, we're gonna have to see what happens. From Quentin, Quentin's gonna say, should the Mets extend Baez on a short deal? That's what I was thinking. How long do you want to extend this dude for? Taking a look at Javier Baez, he is a free agent following this season. He claims to want $200 million. If Baez can go the rest of this season playing like he is now, I would strongly consider $200 million. I do get a little concerned, with the chemistry with him and opposing to the other team because, I say you kind of have two groups on this team, and I'm sure everyone else could see. You have Lindor, Baez, pretty much everyone that's new to this team. Lindor, Baez, Walker, and maybe like one or two other people, and then you have your old squad. Pete Alonso, Jeff McNeil, Brandon Nimmo, Michael Conforto. I don't know. I just feel you have a two different squad here. You had the McNeil and the Lindor controversy. I don't know. But that has nothing to do with, extending an extension. I mean, obviously, I would give him a short-term deal probably also. I'm thinking 3 to 4 years. I mean, I don't want to go crazy on this dude just because we know. I mean, I think the league has kind of figured him out. If he can go back to his 2018 self, I'm locking him up. SNNA says, I love how you have the Yankee flag is in last place and the AL East flag's behind you. Yeah, honestly, that's not even on purpose. I just did that because I just did that. But to be honest with you, I kind of got some of them right. I mean, I wasn't going off of predictions, which honestly, I should do that. I'm kind of glad you brought that up. That actually is a smart idea. I probably should have done that. I mean, I got the Rays right, and that's pretty much it in first place. I mean, but yeah, honestly, I didn't even do that on purpose, so that's kind of funny. You noticed that. Good eyes there, I'll tell you that. Cole, I appreciate you tuning in. Yeah, I'm sure, Quinn. They'll probably extend him, I think, at this rate. I think it depends who, honestly, regardless if it's Sandy or not, I think it'll be extended. Ice Cube says, Yanks and Twins score 5-5. Yeah, I saw Judge hit a game-tying home run. Crazy. Coolspin says, Lindor hides stuff from the media. If they interviewed Baez, he would be like, oh, yeah, Stan and Frankie cursed each other out, and then Stan sent threats, and yeah, they would send a fight. Yeah, honestly, I have to look into what happened. I wasn't really paying much attention with that. Honestly, I like rivalries. Just keep them peaceful. Don't be going after each other's families and heads. Colby says, should the Mets extend Loop? Honestly, yes. There were some talks of the Mets extending Loop, and honestly, no one really kind of put much thought into it. But I think, honestly, the Mets extending Loop doesn't really have any hurt on it. He's a nice left-handed pitcher. Our pitcher in the bullpen, something we really lack. I mean, we lost Chris Wilson this offseason. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt to bring him back. He's been the most effective pitcher on this squad in the bullpen. I'd say go for it. For sure it's a brawl. Hayden says, Lindor's elite. Yeah, Hayden, I agree with you, man. Lindor is very elite so far. Christopher, I appreciate you tuning in. I just got home from work. I'm doing well, man. Doing well. Good to hear you got home from work. Hopefully you had a good day, my friend. Regular on the channel. Ivan Dose is LFGM, of course. AB, Judge hit a game-tying home run. I did see that. I love Aaron Judge. Yeah, Aaron Judge has been pretty solid. LFGM, solid lineup. So obviously now we're going to be going over the standings for baseball right now. A lot has changed. A lot of teams have moved spots in the standings. And the Mets have a more likelihood of making the wild card than the division. So getting right into it, as you can see, it is pulled up on my screen. If you guys have any thoughts about it, who do you think is going to win? What do you think is going to change? Drop them below. I'd be interested to hear. So pretty much in the AL East, it has changed up quite a bit, actually. Blue Jays and Red Sox are tied second place. So obviously, first place, we have the Tampa Bay Rays. Coming off a tough series with the Tigers. Tigers took 2 out of 3 against them. Really unfortunate to see. Crazy to see a Detroit Tigers team take 2 out of 3 against the best team in the AL. I did see some of that game yesterday. So Tampa Bay Rays, first place. Toronto Blue Jays, they're coming off a huge week. 22-7 against the Orioles. I mean, say what you want, but this team has been awesome. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. has tied up Shohei Ohtani for home runs at 44. Teoscar Hernandez has been nice. Bo Bichette has been nice. This team has been exploding, and this is without, it's full court together. So yeah, and then we have the Red Sox, tied second place, who also have been kind of, struggling since the whole outbreak. They've been there. They lost against the White Sox yesterday. They walked off against them, so we'll see. Yankees, they unfortunately lost the second wild card spot against the Mets. So they've really been struggling overall, offensively and even defensively wise with the pitching staff. And a lot of errors, Gleyber Torres, Gio Urshela, Gary Sanchez. That was a big thing this past series with the Mets and Yankees was that Sanchez, they were throwing Sanchez all over the plate, balls in the dirt. They were making him run all over. So, they really got to work their stuff. So that is the AL East. Getting into the AL Central, we could see that the Chicago Central's pretty quiet. Chicago White Sox coming off a solid series against the Red Sox. They walked off against them yesterday. So that will be something we're going to have to see. White Sox have been pretty solid. Really no complaints with them. Teoscar, Luis Robert's been nice for them. So got Cleveland. Unfortunately, dropped some games. They've really been struggling under 500. And really the rest of the Central Division's kind of been struggling. I'm going to give the Tigers massive props here because the fact is they're like not even 10 games below 500. They're only 8 games below 500. And, I mean, they just took 2 out of 3 against the best team in the AL. So, Tigers, I mean, I think they're on a time to start winning. They have A.J. Hinch as a manager. I could see them going out this offseason, acquiring a Carlos Correa. Hinch and Correa, they know each other, obviously, from the Astros. They signed, I think it was Candelario to a 2-year extension. I think the Tigers are going to start buying now and start being competitors. And I think, honestly, the division, I mean, is up for a wild card grab. You got the Royals and Twins. I mean, nothing really crazy with them. Twins are playing the Yankees now. I believe it is still a tied game. Going into the AL West, pretty close, honestly. You got the Astros in first place. Astros have been very hot offensively. They are the best team in baseball playing against 500-plus teams. Mariners and Oakland Athletics are tied for second place. Those two teams are competing for the second wild card spot. Mariners are trying to end their 20-year drought without being in the playoffs. Athletics had high hopes on them. They unfortunately lost a couple big guys this offseason, and they are trying to really rekindle together. Angels are, playing close to 500 ball in late September, 70 and 73. I mean, I can only imagine if they had Mike Trout in MVP form, what this team could look like. I mean, that'd be at least combined 80 home runs with Ohtani and Trout. So, they really need pitching. You got Ohtani, and that's really in terms of pitching. So they need pitching. And, they had, 2 or 3 solid pitchers. No one crazy. I think they'd have a shot at playing over 500. And then you got the Texas Rangers. I mean, nothing crazy with them. Nick Solak is nice, I guess. Nothing crazy. Now going into the National League, my favorite division, my most knowledgeable division, the NL East. Atlanta Braves coming off a solid series against the Marlins. Let's see how the Braves did. I believe they took it. They took 2 out of 3. So took 2 out of 3 from the Miami Marlins. They are in first place. They are 10 games above 500. They're coming off a 6-4 spree in the last 10 games. The Philadelphia Phillies coming off an unfortunate series against the Rockies. I think they took 1 out of 4 against the Colorado Rockies on the road. Crazy because the Rockies were playing in Philly, and usually they're terrible on the road. So crazy to see. Phillies bullpen, unfortunately, just wasn't able to get it done. Bryce Harper's been nice, though, for them. Phillies in second place. You got the Mets, 500 ball club. I don't really need to go over that. Marlins, below 500. I mean, nothing really crazy. Lost 1 out of 3 against the Braves. Marlins will be a nice team ahead, in my opinion. And then you got the Nationals. I mean, overall, nothing too crazy with them. They played the Pirates, I saw. I think they gave up a walk-off to them. So I don't really have too much to say about those teams. Getting into the Central, kind of close here. The Brewers are likely going to lock down the division. I had the Brewers winning the division early on in the season, and everyone was like, Hayden, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know baseball. It's clearly going to be the Reds or the Cardinals. And nope, it was the Brewers. I was right. They're on a nice 5-game winning streak. They've been solid. Don't call me crazy, but the Brewers are kind of like the Mets, I feel. The Brewers, they don't really have anyone crazy in their offensive lineup. I mean, okay, Willie Adames is nice. Javier Garcia is nice. Christian Yelich is solid. But their pitching staff has really been providing a lot for this team. We had a no-hitter with Corbin Burns, and unfortunately he was taken out, and the 9th was Josh Hader to close it, so a combined no-hitter. You have Corbin Burns, Freddie Peralta, Brandon Woodruff. You have a nice rotation, giving up a solid 1 to 2 runs per game, if even, and their offense doing little, but their pitching carries. Kind of what we saw with the Mets early on this season. Reds are pretty nice. They've been pretty solid. Joey Votto reached 30 home runs, 3rd time in his career. He's got 30 home runs in the season. So Votto's been looking nice, having a nice resurgence. We know Votto early on in his season, was early on in his career was more swinging, just put the ball in play. Now he's trying to swing for the fences and driving some RBIs and stuff. Cardinals have been putting on a show. I don't know how the Cardinals did. I haven't really been taking a look-see at them. The St. Louis Cardinals, we are playing against them. I know Arenado had some pretty solid performance against the Reds. So they took 2 out of 3. I did go over that right against the Reds. So Cardinals are nice. They're competing for a wild card spot. Got the Cubs, who now are on a 3-game losing streak. Kind of jinxed it. I said they were getting pretty hot, and yeah. Pirates are Pirates. They've been having some nice times this season. Nice guys, Shinsugo, Moran, Reynolds, Brian Hayes had a walk-off for them. So it could be something nice down the line. And then in the West, one of the most chaotic divisions. Giants in first place. They've been overall a solid team. Gabe Kepler's really been managing them well. And I mean, you look at this team on paper and it doesn't look crazy. You have a guy like Brandon Crawford, who's going to bat like 230, but then he'll hit, 25 to 35 home runs for them. So it's really where it gets them. They're a nice team. They hit home runs. And their pitching staff has been nice for them. Got the Dodgers, who, are a crazy team overall. We all know how the Dodgers are. Crazy that they're in second place. Padres are kind of falling apart a little bit. Their pitching staff, unfortunately, wasn't helping them out super much this year. They had high expectations, acquiring Yu Darvish, Blake Snell, and, they really weren't able to do it that crazy. So, yeah, we're going to have to see how that goes. And then Rockies, surprisingly, the Rockies aren't doing as bad as I thought. And then you got the Diamondbacks coming off a nice 2-game win streak. Probably get 200 losses. So pretty much getting into who I think will make the wild card. Obviously, if the playoffs were to start today, we would have the Tampa Bay Rays winning the East, the White Sox winning the Central, and Astros winning the West, with the wild card spots going to both the Blue Jays and the Red Sox. So we got 3 teams out of the East: Rays, Blue Jays, Red Sox, Central, White Sox, and West, Astros. Getting into the NL East, or the National League, we would have the Braves, Brewers, and Giants make the playoffs, with the Dodgers, and I can't tell who else, with the Dodgers making the wild card. And nope, I'm not interested in that. With the Dodgers making the wild card. And okay, my computer's going to do that to me. Let's not. With the Dodgers making the wild card, tagging along with the Padres. And who are also tied with the Reds, so they would be a game 163 in this scenario. You got the Cardinals trailing behind. You got the Phillies, a game over 500. You got the Mets at 500. And all these other teams down here are mathematically excluded from the playoffs. So pretty concerning to see. So this is really it. Personally, I think this will stand. I think the Rays will win the division. I think the Astros and White Sox will win their divisions. It's pretty close because the AL East, the Rays, the Yankees, the Red Sox, they're really playing. It's a big AL East battle. A lot of in-division games. So we're gonna have to see how these teams really go at each other. So it's gonna be something. So yeah, personally, I would like to see the Mariners make the playoffs. They're a team that I think really deserves it, but I don't think they're there yet. So I think these teams will make it: Rays, Astros, White Sox, and honestly, I could see the Blue Jays continuing making the first wild card spot. Call me crazy, but you know what? I could see the Athletics making the second wild card spot. I could see something going on with the A's. I could see the A's getting hot. Taking a look at their schedule, they're playing a lot of in-division games between the Rangers and stuff, so I could see it. And in terms of the National League, nothing too promising, sadly, but Giants, I think that'll stand. Brewers, I think that'll stand. Braves, I think that'll stand. And honestly, I think it'll be Dodgers, and call me crazy, but I don't know. I could see maybe the Reds making it. I would like to see the Mets, but they haven't convinced me quite enough yet. So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Who do you think will make it? Do you think the Red Sox will make it? Do you think the Blue Jays won't make it? Think the Mets will make it? Do you think the Braves will lose it? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. And yeah, otherwise we got a lot of other good stuff to go on today. Big stuff today for the Mets and baseball. I think the Yankees and Twins are tied up currently. Solid lineup. From Joe. Joe's going to say, Lindor was like, I'm pissed about you stealing signs. I'll personally make sure you fall out of the wild card. Pretty much, Joe. Pretty much. That is what Lindor's master plan was. John says, Hayden, can you go live tonight in the 9th if it's a close game? Yeah, I possibly could. Usually my motto is I usually go live, obviously, for an opportunity to have a walk-off. But potentially, I think, depending, if it's the top of the order leading off, if it's a one-run game, maybe I could think about it. Obviously, if it's tied, I'm definitely going live. Hopefully, we'll see how late it is, though. Kobe says, I could see the Rays getting 100 wins. Yeah, me too, man. Me too. Let's go Blue Jays, says Karen. Nick says, let's freaking go Mets. Gods of Gaming is going to say Twins have a go-ahead run in scoring position with 2 outs. That's probably old, because I got distracted with the standings. Chapman can't get out of it. Gio says Padres had a disappointment this season. Yeah, I mean, they had high expectations, but they're still in playoff contention. I haven't seen it yet. I am excited for the playoffs too. Gods of Gaming says Red Sox make the playoffs. They're better. Yeah, I mean, it's like I just feel ever since the whole thing. I mean, since the outbreak, they've really been slumping. I don't know. Let's see what their schedule lies ahead for. Red Sox. Mariners 3, Orioles for 3, Mets against 2, Yankees 3, Orioles 3, Nationals 3. You know what? Honestly, maybe with the schedule they could. I mean, don't be fooled with the Orioles. They always manage to fool everyone. And then let's see, opposed to the Blue Jays. You know what? Honestly, I may actually switch mine. You know what? Honestly, yeah, I think I'm going to switch actually, because now I look at the Blue Jays. Rays, Twins, Yankees, Orioles. It's that Rays. It's the back-to-back Rays that really stumped me. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. It's going to be close. Their lineup is nice. I don't know what's going on with JD Martinez. I haven't really been hearing much about him. I don't know if he's hurt or what's going on with him. But yeah, please, everyone, if you can, drop a like on this video. Turn on those post notifications so you never miss a video, stream, upload, all that great stuff. Have any comments, questions, concerns? Drop them below. We got a lot of good stuff going ahead for the Mets and everything. It's going to be a ride. It really is. Quentin says, let's freaking go Mets. I agree with you guys. It's really going to be a ride for this Mets team going ahead. I'm hoping they can get something going ahead. Brandon Nimmo is still on the IL. Hopefully he should be returning soon. And yeah, I mean, otherwise we're going to have to see what this team really wants. They want to make the playoffs. Well, they're going to have to fight for it. So yeah, otherwise, if anyone else has anything, we'll probably call it a stream in a bit. I believe the Yankees game is still tied potentially. Let's take a look-see. Louis Rojas says Noah Syndergaard threw off the mound today and is expected to face live batters tonight. This week. Not my bad, not tonight. This week, okay. Well, good to see. And then it also says Noah Syndergaard threw off the mound again today. He is faced to have live batters this week. All right, well, we'll have to see what happens. That's going to be really interesting to see. Mets, Cardinals tonight. As we know, the player of the week was Andrew Benintendi and Max Scherzer. We know Aaron Judge just had a 3-run home run to tie it up. So yeah, we're going to have to see what goes on in MLB. Very, very suspenseful coming ahead. But yeah, if anyone else has any more comments, questions, or concerns, we'll get to the hour mark. So if anyone has anything that you want to take a look-see at, any comments, questions, Andrew Benintendi, one AL player of the week. Cool for him. And Max Scherzer, as Max Marks says, he just took it. So good to see. And yeah, we're going to have to see. I mean, Rich Hill is on the bump today. Rich Hill has been very nice. As we can see, Rich Hill's last 4 starts, 22 innings pitched, 6 earned runs, 2 walks, and 22 strikeouts with a 2.45 ERA. Pretty nice. Some injury updates. Catcher Tomas Nido, who had a thumb sprain, as we know. just popped his head out of the dugout at Citi Field, and it looks like his rehab assignment is over, and he is back with the Mets. So I don't know if he has been activated yet, but we're going to have to see. And Jake Reed has also rejoined the Mets. I think he had some inflammation or something years ago. Feels like it at this rate. So good to see Jake Reed back. Those guys, they're small guys. Well, Jake Reed at least, but it's depth. So we're going to have to see. And pretty much Mets this week, they have a big schedule this week. As we know, the Mets are playing the Cardinals. They have an off day on Thursday, and then they got the Phillies this weekend. So if the Mets want to make the playoffs, they're going to have to fight for it. They can't sit around and win 2 games and say, oh, fingers crossed, let's hope, the Braves lose 2 games and the Phillies lose 2 games. Listen, that's a way to make it, but I'm the type of person that wants my team to make the playoffs from their success, not their failures. So yeah, we're going to have to see how it goes. Otherwise, I appreciate everyone for tuning in. We'll call it a stream here in a bit. 16 people in the chat. I really appreciate everyone for tuning in. Kudos to everyone in the chat. You guys rock. 15 people. Let's go. I know the channel has been pretty quiet recently. I know, school's starting, people going back to work, summer's winding down. But I really appreciate everyone for tuning in. Like I said, if you're not subscribed to the channel already, please do. Tell your friends about this channel. If you have to make an account for your dog, your cat, please do. But yeah, we'll have to see what goes on for the Mets ahead. A lot ahead. We'll say that. I do want to check Twitter briefly in case anything happens. LFGM, of course. True Mets fan there, of course. Hat collection. Yeah, I do definitely want to do a hat collection pretty soon. I'm probably going to do one of those. I'm trying to think. I'm probably going to do a hat collection probably in the off season. Maybe I'll do one with a jersey collection. Currently I'm wearing my boy Jeff McNeil because, why not? So yeah, we're going to have to see what goes on ahead for this Mets team. Otherwise, I really do appreciate everyone for tuning into the stream. If anyone else has any more comments, questions, or concerns, drop them below. If it's Mets related, it could be anything related. I don't really care. I'm a baseball fan. I enjoy everything. So if anyone else has any more comments, questions, or concerns, drop them below. Like I said, if you are new to the channel, turn on those post notifications, subscribe, hit this like button, go back to the past videos if you would like. We're going to have a lot to see ahead for this Mets team, as I probably said like a million times in this video, but it's true. It really is true, and I hope this Mets team could turn it around. Obviously, the odds of the playoffs are very, very small. But you know what? You got to believe. You look at 1973 and, this team was, I wasn't alive then, but it was something else. So, 17 people in the chat. Wow, I really appreciate you guys. I want to stay on here longer because I'm not used to having this many people. I think my current high spree, I think, is 21 or 21. Yeah. So definitely let's try and get there. So we're going to have to see. Sorry, taking a look-see at Twitter. Nothing seems to be new on Twitter. So if anyone else has any more comments, we'll probably end the stream in a minute or two. John, our loyal fan of the channel, always hyping up. See you, Quentin. See you, Karen. Actually, I kind of want to do this. I kind of want to take a look-see at the stats leaders. MLB stat leaders, because I know Guerrero just overtook Ohtani, I believe, or I think he's tied at 44 with Ohtani. So I'm kind of curious to see who's going to take this. Can Vlad Jr. take the Triple Crown? It's a strong possibility. So taking a look at the offense, and I guess we'll look at the pitching too. Taking a look at the offensive production, we could see in terms of average, Vlad Jr. Honestly, Vlad Jr. may have a really strong case. He's there in RBIs too. He may have a really strong case in terms of taking the Triple Crown. Vlad Jr. is currently leading all of MLB in batting average of 319. He is closely followed behind by Yuli Gurriel, Michael Brantley. Crazy to see Michael Brantley doing this well, and we haven't really heard a lot from him. I know he was injured for a little bit, but he's been playing pretty well. Nick Castellanos, Juan Soto. In terms of home runs, as we know, Vlad Jr. and Ohtani are tied at 44. Vlad Jr. has been bursting out with home runs. He lost a lot of weight this offseason, and it's been helping him. Salvador Perez is up there. Crazy to see a catcher have 42 home runs. He could probably finish 45 maybe. Marcus Semien, 39, and Fernando Tatis Jr. at 38. My boy Pete Alonso was at 32, so hopefully he could start raking some more. He had three close ones. Three close ones this series. In terms of RBIs, we have Jose Abreu, 107, Salvador Perez, 105, Teoscar Hernandez, and Rafael Devers, as well as Vlad Jr. at 102. In terms of hits, Vlad Jr. at 170, followed by Bo Bichette, Trey Turner, Whit Merrifield, and Cedric Mullins. In terms of stolen bases, Starling Marte. Crazy to think Starling Marte would be the stolen bases leader right now. 45, Whit Merrifield, 40, Cedric Mullins, a big gap at 28. Trey Turner and Miles Straw tied at 27. Did not think Miles Straw was that fast to go out there. In terms of the pitching, Julio Urias leads 17 wins, followed by Adam Wainwright. We will be facing him tonight. Walker Buehler, Kevin Gausman, and Kyle Hendricks all at 14. ERA, Max Scherzer. Max Scherzer could potentially even get some Cy Young votes. He has been really good, Max Scherzer, this year. He has been awesome with the Dodgers. You got Corbin Burns from the Brewers, another Dodger, Walker Buehler, another Brewer, Brendan Woodruff, and a Giant, Kevin Gausman. In terms of saves, you got Mark Melanson, Liam Hendricks, Kenley Jansen, Will Smith, and Jake McGee. I believe Edwin Diaz, I think, is 29, so he's pretty close on that list. Pains to see Jacob deGrom not in any of these stats, but there's always next year for him. In terms of strikeouts, the former Met, current Philadelphia Philly, Zach Wheeler. Great to see. Robbie Ray, Max Scherzer, Garrett Cole, and Corbin Burns. And in terms of starts, Walker Buehler has a 25 quality starts. We're going to have to see really what goes on for pitching. Personally, I think Cy Young is going to be a really close race. As we know, the Yankees and Twins are currently tied with that Manfred rule with runner on first. So we'll see how that goes for them. I would like the Twins to win, but if they lose, whatever. We're going to have to see really what goes ahead. Personally, I think a lot of the awards are really going to look the same. Joe says not so crazy about the Mets experimenting with Syndergaard at the season at this point. I mean, you're going to throw him with the bullpen at this point because, I mean, we have, 3 weeks left? And, I mean, I don't know what, So he's going to be a bullpen pitcher, no doubt about it. We're going to have to see what the New York Mets are going to do ahead. Probably going to call it a stream here. Been live for an hour and 7 minutes. Great stream today. I really do appreciate everyone for tuning in. I did see a couple new names, so if you guys are new to the channel, hit that like button, comment, post notifications, subscribe. Tell your friends about this channel. If you have any Discords, anywhere, share it in there. Let's try to get to 500 subs. We are on the road to 500 subs. We are very close to there. We're, I think, 2 away or 1 away, whatever, from 450. And then we will get to 500 subscribers. Maybe I'll do a little giveaway then. That'll be pretty cool, possibly. This offseason, we're going to have a lot of stuff going. During the offseason, we're going to be uploading a lot of streams. Hopefully try to get some free agent signings live. During the offseason, I do want to start to learn more about other teams because, I can tell you a fair amount about other teams, but the Mets is really more my knowledge and expertise. So learn with you guys. I know we have a lot of non-Met fans in the chat, and it's awesome. I mean, you guys teach me about the Yankees, the Royals, the Phillies, the Rangers, whatever. So really, really cool to see. But yeah, I appreciate everyone for tuning into the stream. As always, anyone else has any more comments, questions, or concerns, I appreciate everyone for tuning into the stream. Game 1 is tonight at 7:10, starting shortly. Let's get something rolling, boys. Let's freaking go, Mets. Let's get this W, boys. Mets, they got to get something rolling. Till next time, baseball fans, see ya. Let's freaking go, Mets. I'm telling you, Pete Alonso, he's going yard tonight. You heard it here first. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Let's freaking go, Mets.